Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Danat Pranam. Thank you very much for joining in for our Ramayana study session. Let's start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauradushe Namaha Panchadattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Taralaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yadkripātamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees and pranams. Thank you very much for joining in for our Ramayana study session. So we are on the path of Aranya Kand, where we are seeing that Bharat, upon hearing all the happenings, heard from Kaikeyi herself, in a mood where Kaikeyi is telling Bharat all that had transpired, and telling that all of this I had done for you. And Bharat was very, very angry with Mother Kaikeyi. He disowned Kaikeyi and he went to Kaushalya's apartments, and they all decided that they will go back to the forest and make Lord Ram come back to Ayodhya and rule Ayodhya. So they all go to the forest. So they met. They met Guha. They met Bharadwaj Rishi, right? And then he guided where to meet Lord Ram, right? He guided Bharat and the entire entourage, along with Bharat. The entire Ayodhya Vasis are there to bring back Lord Ram to Ayodhya. Of course, Mother Kaikeyi is also there. She is repenting for her actions. And then, of course, Mother Kaushalya is there, Mother Sumitra is there, Bharata is there, and Shatrughna is also there. So in this way, not having that insignia of a king, right? They travel, and then they reach Chitrakoot. They reach the mountain Chitrakoot, and Lakshmana is able to see from a distance, right? He's able to see that Bharat and Shatrughna are coming, and while he has his doubts, Lord Ram is very, very clear what would be the intentions of Bharat. So in this way, Ram and Bharat meet, and Ram is seeing Bharat being dressed in dressed like an ascetic, not like a king. So Lord Ram is actually asking Bharat, why are you dressed like an ascetic, right? It is for me to stay in the Vana for 14 long years. You should become the king. You should rule the kingdom. A kingdom without a king is not a very good position, right? Because the king actually provides everything for the citizens, right? Right from material prosperity, material, emotional, social, spiritual, and material, emotional, social, and spiritual needs. of the citizens are taken care of by the king. So it is very important position of being a king. And if there is no king, then who will take care of um, who will take care of the citizens of Ayodhya? So in that way, Lord Ram is asking Bharat, and Bharat is asking Lord Ram to return to Ayodhya, and that conversation is continuing right now. All right, so let me share my screen. Let's quickly go on with our study of the Aranya Kand of Ramayana. Very interesting conversation where we have the two brothers asking each other to rule, and not claiming the kingdom, or not claiming to become the king themselves, which is the way fights are happening today. Right, but here we see the argument is you become the king, and Ram is saying to telling Bharat, you become the king. It is not good that the kingdom is without a king, right? I will come back after 14 years. And Bharat is saying, please come back. Please come back and rule over Ayodhya. I cannot accept the kingdom, right? You are the rightful king. So like this, the conversation happens. Let's see how it progresses. Devotees would like to read, can raise your hands. With my father dead and gone, what shall I do in Ayodhya? Alas, I'm surely a wretched and useless son. My father died because of me, nor was I even able to cremate him. Even when the 14 years expire, I shall not have the courage to return to the city, seeing it desolate and bereft of its protector. Who will now speak those kind and loving words my father spoke when he saw me well behaved? So, in this way, Lord Ram is thinking himself the cause of the death of his father. He hears from Bharat actually now that his father has expired. So, he's feeling sad that he could not even do the final rites for his father. Right? So, he's saying, even after 14 years, I'll have to rethink whether I will return to the city of Ayodhya. Rama went over to Sita and Lakshmana, who were seated nearby. Dear Sita, your father in law is no more. Oh, Lakshman, you are no fatherless. Our brother brings the sorrowful news of the king's ascent to heaven. This world now stands without a ruler. Sita's eyes filled with tears, and she was unable to look at her husband. Rama and Lakshmana wept along with Sita as Bharata and Shatrughna comforted them. Okay, Srimati Shamapriya Mataji, go ahead. Rama controlled his feelings and said from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams.
Pranam.
Rama controlled his feelings and said, I must now perform the last sacred rites for the king. Let us go to the river. The four princes and Sita, stumbling due to their grief, descended with difficulty to the river bank. They were assisted by Sumantra and other ministers of the king, who stood watching as Rama entered the water along with his brothers and Sita. Rama faced the southern quarter over which Yamaraja presides and held water in his cupped palms. He let the water trickle through his fingers and said in a choked voice, May this sacred water reach you, O great tiger among kings. Let these offerings serve you, dear father, who have gone forever to the world of our forefathers. Rama offered prayers for his father and then returned to his hermitage to prepare an offering of food for the departed king. After the offering was made, Rama and his brothers clasped each other hands and began to wail loudly. The sound was like the roaring of the lion, and it reverberated all around the mountain passes. Hearing that confused noise, the soldiers in Bharata's army were armed, and they said to one another, Surely Bharata and Shatrughna have met Rama and Lakshmana. This sound must be the loud cry of those four brothers mourning for their deceased father. The soldiers got up quickly and began running towards the sound, crashing through the undergrowth on foot, horseback, and in chariots. Everyone in Bharata's entourage rushed towards Rama's hermitage, eager to see him again. The noise of all those thousands of people moving through the forest was tremendous. Deer, buffaloes, boars, lions, and elephants ran in all directions, terrified by the great commotion. Birds of every kind cried loudly and flew up into the air. Dasharatha's widow queens got down from the chariot and went on foot into woods, accompanied by Vashishta. Walking with difficulty along the narrow forest paths, they finally arrived at the spot where Rama was standing with his brothers. Rama saw them as they entered the clearing, and he ran quickly towards them. He bowed down to Vashishta and each of the three queens, touching their feet. After Lakshmana and Sita had also offered their respects, Rama sat down with Vashishta on the wooden seats in front of his hut. The queens wept along upon seeing the ascetic dress of Rama and Sita. Kausalya went Kaushalya went to Rama and tenderly wiped the dust from his face. Turning to Sita, she said, How are you surviving in this lonely forest, dear Sita? Your face appears pale and withered. Alas, my grief upon seeing you here blazes up like a fire fed with abundant fuel. Rama consoled Kausalya while Lakshmana spoke with Sumitra, who was also deeply pained. Bharata then came and sat at Rama's feet. With his palms folded, he said, Kaikeyi is now satisfied and the kingdom has been offered to me. If this kingdom is mine, then I hereby give it to you. O Rama, please take it without any hesitation. As Bharata sat before Rama and Lakshmana, the three brothers shone like three sacrificial fires. Bharata held Rama's feet as he spoke. The rule, power to rule this world rests only with you, O Rama. I can no more emulate the power of yours than a donkey can emulate the gait of a horse or a sparrow the flight of Garuda. Indeed, I am dependent upon you. Let the world behold you shining with splendor on Ayodhya's throne. We shall take you there in the state this very day. All the people gathered there called out, Well said. Upon hearing Bharata speak, with tears streaming from his eyes, Bharata sat looking at Rama. He hoped desperately that Rama might somehow be persuaded. He could not imagine going back to Ayodhya without him. Seeing his brother and other relatives weeping, Rama felt compassion, keeping his own grief in check. He replied, No man is free to act as he pleases. In this world, the embodied soul is dragged here and there by all the powerful force of providence. No one can control that force. All gains will end in loss. Every meeting ends in separation, and all life, it ends in death. As there is no fear for a ripe fruit other than a fall, so there is no fear for any man other than death. Everyone listen
Hare
attentively
Krishna.
as
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Prakrite kriyamani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Right. So Lord Ram is also right now. Everybody is now agreeing because Kaikeyi is also remorseful of her act of wanting those having those desires, being poisoned by mantra. So now everybody wants unanimously. They all want Rama to return to Ayodhya and become the king. Yet, Lord Ram himself, being the Maryada Purushottam, right? Lord Ram, he is very clear that he will follow the instructions of his father, and he is giving a um, response to Bharata. Right? What is he saying? Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartahim iti manyate. So nobody in this world is able to carry out whatever he or she wants independently. Why? Because as Jiva, we only can desire. Right? We desire so many things. And whatever we desire, we want to put into action. Right? So if our desire is sanctioned by the Supreme Lord, then only what happens is executed by Prakriti. Right? The three doers as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. The first doer is the Jiva, who's only desiring that it is my desire that I want to do these things. But the ultimate sanctioner of every action, everything happens only with the sanction of the Lord. So the Lord sanctions, and then who executes those things? Prakriti kriyamanani. Prakriti actually executes everything, right? Or facilitates the execution of all the activities only based on the sanction of the Lord. And it all happens in a split second, like Prabhupada mentions in one of his lectures. The moment we desire, if I want to even lift my hand up, right? So those who have this paralysis or whatever, some disease of the hand, they're not able to lift their hand also. Right? So their lifting of the hand is not sanctioned by the Lord. So it all happens in minute seconds. Right? I desire to lift my hand, and then that particular desire is either rejected by the Lord or is sanctioned by the Lord. Only when it is sanctioned by the Lord, Prakriti or the material nature enables me to even lift my hand. Right? So that is why those who have some paralysis, they are not even able to lift their hand. So we need to be very clear that whatever I desire, I cannot execute. It requires primarily the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this way, Lord Ram also is saying that everything, whatever has happened, has happened according to the desire of the Lord, and we are but instruments who are performing our dharma in all situations, whether of so-called misery or so-called perceived happiness. We simply have to continue to perform our duties, right, for the pleasure of the Lord. And if it is sanctioned by the Lord, it will happen. Otherwise, it will not happen. So we should not deter from performing our duty, whether it is a situation of happiness, whether it is a situation of sadness. But we need to continue to perform our dharma, which Lord Ram is also going to do. Right? Lord Ram also was feeling sad, right? Because he is also a person. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Suddenly he was supposed to become the king, right? Of course, Yogamaya is playing a part here. Because of the will of the Lord, only everything is happening. And the Lord himself now is being asked to return to Ayodhya, but the Lord is also performing his duty. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tattat eveitaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate. Right? As a leader performs, the citizens automatically follow. The followers automatically follow. The disciples, the students automatically follow. Hence, it becomes a responsibility of the leader to continue to perform dharma and not act according to one's own whims and fancies. Even though it could be possible for a leader to do according to his own whims and fancies. But a leader should be very careful, especially a person who's in the leadership position should be very careful to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong, because the actions of the leader may be emulated by his followers, and that could result in greater harm, right? Because the leader is going wrong, then everything is going wrong, right? Hence the leader has to be very careful. All right. Deval Mataji, please continue reading. Everyone listened attentively as Ram spoke.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvatana. Everyone listened attentively as Ram spoke their feelings of sorrow, relieved by his instructions. The passing of days and nights quickly exhaust the lifespan of all beings, even as the summer sun sucks up the water in a lake. Rama went on, "You should grieve only for yourself. Why do you grieve for another? Death is our constant companion. He walks with us, sits with us, and having gone a long distance with us when we travel, he duly returns with us." Rama still had no desire to return to Ayodhya. He wanted to encourage Bharata and give him strength. Stroking his brother's head, he continued to instruct him. "Beloved brother, the power to prevent one's own death does not exist in a person grieving for another. Our father departed after a long life of piety, and we should by no means grieve. We ourselves have embarked on the very same path trodden by the emperor and will join him in due course. Let us therefore throw off grief and dedicate ourselves to the pursuit of piety, by which we too shall attain the blessed regions reached by the king." Rama looked around his hermitage. Thousands of people were crowding on the mountainside, all looking towards him. There was complete silence as Rama spoke. Even the animals seemed silent. Only the sound of the river and the rustling of leaves in the breeze could be heard. Dapple shadows moved over the ground in the late afternoon sun. With a mild smile, Rama continued to address Bharata within the hearing of everyone there. "Father has shed his old worn out body, and with an ethereal and undecaying form, he now sports in great happiness. Rather than grieve for him, we should now carefully do his bidding. For your part, you should rule over the earth, dear Bharata, while I, for mine, should remain in the forest until 14 years have expired. This will ensure our welfare in both this world and the next. Under no circumstances should we disobey our virtuous father." Rama spoke for more than an hour, and Bharata felt joy to hear his brother's words of instruction. But he was also dispirited to see Rama's determination to stay in the forest. When Rama stopped speaking, Bharata grasped his feet and replied, "Your position is glorious, O mighty brother. You are never dejected at adversity, nor exhilarated at finding joy. You are always able to distinguish truth from untruth. Therefore, you know what is real and what is only temporary, and thus ultimately unreal. It is certainly the soul and not the body that one should nurture in this world." Bharata realized that Rama was only acting with philosophical understanding. He knew that Rama could not possibly act outside the codes of religion or morality. Nonetheless, Bharata was himself still doubtful about the justice of Rama's exile. He spoke to Rama in order to clear his doubts. "Were it not for moral codes, I would have surely slain my sinful mother. How did the king allow himself to fall under her sway? Due to infatuation or foolishness, our father acted wrongly. As his sons, is it not our duty to correct his mistakes? Surely this is the proper religious path for an honest and worthy son." Bharata turned and indicated the people gathered around. "All these people need your protection. This is the duty of rulers according to scripture. Nowhere is the duty of a ruler stated as being life in the forest. March back to Ayodhya at the head of this vast army. Let your friends feel joy today and your enemies run frightened in all directions. O Ram, if you resolve to stay here, then you shall find me by your side. I can by no means find in myself the strength to rule in your absence." Bharata sat with his head bowed. Everyone was enthralled by the conversation between the two royal brothers, and they became simultaneously joyful to witness his firm resolve and disconsolate to realize he would not be returning to Ayodhya. Rama replied to Bharata in a solemn voice, "All this life our father allowed the path of piety. This is widely known. Impiety would not have been possible for that truthful man." When her father accepted Kaiki's hand, he promised her father, as a bright price, that her son would inherit the kingdom. Furthermore, sworn under the solemn oath by Kaikai, the king promised you the kingdom and ordered me to go to the forest. Whatever the reasons, this was the king's promise. If that promise is broken, a father will be liable to sinful reactions. Our duty as his sons is to fulfill his promise and thereby save him. No other course is possible for us. Rama paused for a moment. Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So in all ways, we see here that Bharata is continuing to inquire, right? So that is the duty of a student, right? Here, Lord Ram is actually walking the path of dharma. And although everybody is accepting, right? It's not like blind acceptance, right? Being resigned to the fact, oh, we are forced to do because Ram does not want to return to Ayodhya. I have to go back and I have to do this. No, it's not like that kind of a blind resignation that Bharat agrees to go back, right? He's still appreciating Lord Ram because he's following the path of dharma, but yet there are some questions in his mind which he is also clarifying, right? This is what Krishna also told in Bhagavad Gita, Tadviti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So when we are having some genuine doubts about the application of the principles of Bhagavad Gita in our own life or the teachings of our own guru, we're not able to understand, we should ask our questions in a humble, with a humble spirit and with the attitude of how I can implement it in our life, right? Yesterday also discussing about how it should not be in a challenging spirit. It should not be like, okay, does my guru know the answer or not? Right? If that is the reason with which we are asking, then the guru is not even under an obligation to answer our questions. Right? It is only by seeing the service attitude of the disciple. It is only by seeing the genuine desire of the disciple to implement the instructions of the guru. The guru actually implants the transcendental knowledge in the heart of the disciple, and the disciple gets the strength to live life according to the dharma, to live life according to the instructions of the guru. It is only by the mercy of the guru, and the mercy of the guru is bestowed on the disciple according to or in level with the level of the surrender of the disciple, right? Just like Krishna says, ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. So sometimes we don't even want to do certain things, but we have to do certain things. And how do we get the strength to do what is right, although we don't want to do what is right? It is only by the mercy of the spiritual master, and that mercy we will get only when we have the genuine desire to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, although it may cause us grief, it may cause us inconvenience. But if we are determined to follow the instructions of our guru, we will get the strength to do what is right, irrespective of our whatever mind is feeling or whatever emotions. That is also genuine. It is not that I'm going to artificially think that, okay, now I'll do this, I'm feeling happy about it. No, it is okay to feel unhappy, right? The mind will go through those emotions. It is okay to become aware of the mind's emotions, to accept that my mind is having these desires, these kind of emotions. But with the higher intelligence, you have to dovetail to how I can follow the instructions of the guru, and because this is going to ultimately lead to eternal bliss and happiness, and in the association of the Lord and his devotees, right? So we are simply supposed to follow our dharma, irrespective of whatever emotions we feel in our heart. We are not negating it. We are accepting the emotions that are there in our heart, but we should strive to have the determination to perform our dharma, for which we need the guidance of a guru, for which we need to essentially have the desire to follow the instructions of our guru. And to the extent we want to follow the instructions of the guru, to that extent we will be empowered by the guru to perform what is right, what is dharma, like that. Okay, Sudha Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Rama paused for a moment. He got down from his seat. I'm not able to see Mataji.
And lifted up Bharata and Shatrughna.
And lifted up Bharata and Shatrughna. You too should return to Ayodhya and protect the people. O Bharata, get yourself consecrated as king and rule the earth. I shall become the emperor of wild beasts. The white umbrella should be held over your head as you ride on the royal elephant, while for my part I shall go on foot, shielded by a canopy of trees. Leave with joy for the city. My brothers and I with Lakshman will joyfully enter the woods. In this way we shall preserve our father's pride. Bharata said nothing. He felt reassured by Rama's reply, but was profoundly sorrowful at the prospect of leaving him. At that moment, a Brahmin named Jabali spoke, trying to convince Rama to return on the basis of atheistic doctrines. Why are you attached to your father, Rama? He was nothing more than flesh and bones and has now merged again with the earth. People who consider that others are in some way related to them are simply mad. Alone we came to this world and alone we shall leave. As such, we should only work towards our own interests. You need not suffer now for the interests of your deceased father. Take the throne and enjoy it, O Rama, for this will be in your own best interest. Jabali did not himself believe the philosophy he was espousing. He was only trying somehow to change Rama's mind. Perhaps Rama would accept the arguments as a pretext for going back to Ayodhya. Most likely, though, he would defeat Jabali's position and thereby establish the path of religion. Either way, Jabali would be satisfied and he continued to speak his atheistic philosophy. I lament for those who forsake sense pleasures for the austerities of a religious life, said Jabali, rising to his feet. Hoping for future happiness, they meet only with extermination at death, having led a life of suffering. The scriptures have been written by intelligent Brahmins who wish to exalt sacrifice and charity. In this way, these Brahmins have assured their own livelihood. Jabali smiled as he spoke his false philosophy. No one in the assembly accepted his words, but they too hoped that Rama would yet be convinced to leave the forest. Everyone listened in silence as Jabali concluded his speech. Knowing this truth, O Rama, you should renounce your foolish asceticism. There is nothing beyond this visible universe. Do not depend for your happiness on anything outside of that which you can see and immediately experience. Therefore, O great prince, accept the kingdom and enjoy it as the undisputed ruler. Rama sat down again as Jabali stopped speaking. Looking at the Brahmin, he said, a man is known by his conduct alone. Although posing as a learned and cultured person, one who acts as you direct is to be accepted as sinful and debased. Those who are wise never praise a person who acts only to please his senses. Such a person is mean, selfish, and greedy, driven only by lust for pleasure. His immediate happiness soon turns to distress and he sinks into a hellish condition. Rama appeared angry as he refuted Jabali. His eyes were red and he spoke gravely. If I were to follow the path espoused by you, O atheistic one, then this entire earth would be cast into ruin. All men follow the king's example. Abandoning the religious path, the people would become licentious and uncontrolled. Chaos would prevail and everyone would suffer. Jabali sat down before Rama with his palms joined and his head bowed. He said nothing as Rama explained how the attempt to find happiness through sense enjoyment was futile. Both the senses and their enjoyments are soon destroyed. Only the soul and God are eternal, along with the spiritual realms where the Lord resides. Those who are actually learned therefore follow the path of truth which leads to those ever existing realms of bliss. Rama paused and gradually his anger subsided. After some minutes, he spoke again. My father was wedded to truth. Following his instruction will lead only to happiness. I shall therefore remain in these woods and Bharata should rule the earth. This will be our only assurance of happiness both in this world and the next. O Jabali, you should not speak in this way again, for to mislead the people is a very great sin. Rama
Hare
having
Krishna.
spoken. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we also discussed this, right? So to live a life of purpose should be our goal, right? And what is the purpose of our life, right? The objective of the human form of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, is to revive our dormant Krishna prema. And for that, what are we supposed to do? Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam e vaishya satyam te pratijane priyosime. 4 things we have to do. What are that? We have to always remember Krishna. We need to become a devotee of Krishna, offer obeisances to Krishna, and worship Lord Sri Krishna. And Krishna also says, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Abandon all varieties of kaitava dharma, this cheating religion of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That is, I want something for myself. I want happiness for myself. I don't want miseries for myself. Right? As long as I is in the center, we are always going wrong. Right? And as long as we are seeking pleasure and our decisions are based on pleasure, we will always be frustrated. That's what Lord Ram is saying here. So we need to live a purposeful life, and in our course of actions to attain the purpose of our life, we may encounter various situations which may be of happiness, which may be of distress, right? But we should grow through all those situations of happiness and distress, tolerating happiness and distress, knowing well that both will come and go, both will pass, right? But we should be focused on our goal of reviving our Krishna consciousness, of following the instructions of Guru, so that at one point in time, we are firmly fixed in our goal, right? Right now, we may have this duality, right? Not be wanting to do something else, right? So we need to be guided by our gurus at all times, so that we always pursue the path of dharma in pursuance of our purpose of want to reawaken our Krishna consciousness, to want to reawaken our love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So to live a purposeful life is the goal, and in living a life according to dharma, in pursuit of our purpose, is much, much better. And we also saw in the previous, in Bhagavatam also we saw, right? A person may be very expertly executing the Swadharma. Shreyan Swadharma Vigunaha Paradharman Sunustithat Paradharmo Swadharmo Nidanam Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. Right? So sometimes we think that, okay, if we just do something else, somebody else is doing something, and that person has become successful, let me do what that person is doing. Then that might Bhayavaha, that will become very dangerous. Right? So what we should do, we should always perform our Swadharma according to the instructions of our gurus, and always seek clarifications if we have any doubt of how do we implement these religious principles for our ultimate good of attaining our purpose of going back home, back to Godhead, or to reawaken our Krishna Prema. So we should never act according to the titillation of the senses, or take our decisions based on what will give us pleasure, because that will lead to our doom. Right? But we should always follow the instructions of our gurus, which are given to us according to time, place, and circumstance. And these are the same words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which have been given to us according to time, place, and circumstance. And we should try to follow those instructions at all times. And that, whether it is giving us happiness right now, or whether it is giving us misery right now, does not matter. But if we stick to our purpose, if we stick to dharma and follow our path of purpose, to reawaken our Krishna consciousness, to reawaken our love for Krishna, then ultimately success will be ours. Yeah. So that's what is determined here. Where Brahman is simply saying, simply utilizing the philosophy to get some kind of material pleasure. So that is a philosophy that Jabali is saying, for which has been completely rejected by Lord Ram. Right? It's not about what gives us happiness or what gives us distress at the moment right now. It is about following dharma, and in the long run, to be able to reawaken our dormant Krishna consciousness, or our lost love, or our dormant love for Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, who else is reading? Anusha Mataji. Yes, go ahead. Rama, having spoken to instruct all people, fell silent.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Namaskar. Rama, having spoken to instruct all people, fell silent. He knew Jabali's heart and did not feel anger towards him, only towards his words. The people's pain was Rama's pain, and he knew that Jabali's presentation of hedonism led only to pain. Saying, "It is exactly as you say," Jabali prostrated himself before Rama and returned to his place among the other Brahmins. Vasishta stood up and spoke in the midst of the assembly. This Jabali knows well of the soul and its actual happiness. He spoke only out of his desire to see you installed as the king. This is also my desire, O Raghava. As the emperor's eldest son, it behooves you to now accept the throne. You need entertain no doubt in this regard. Vasishta recounted the history of Rama's line. One by one, he named the previous kings and explained how each had handed the kingdom to their eldest son. Finally, he said, "O Rama, this is my instruction to you. I am your preceptor, and as such, I am even more worthy of your obedience than your father. Indeed, I was also his preceptor. Therefore, I command you to accept the throne of Ayodhya." The sage had spoken only out of love. He was aware that Rama was enacting a divine plan by remaining in the forest, but still he longed for him to return. Rama looked with affection at Vasishta and replied, "The debt owed to one's parents cannot be easily repaid, O learned sage. They give everything they have for their children, feeding them, nurturing them, putting them to bed, and rubbing them with oil. The father and mother give their love at every moment. My worthy father's word should not prove false due to my negligence, for I wish to render him some service in return for his love." It was obvious that Rama was not going to be convinced by anyone to leave the forest. Bharata suddenly stood up and exclaimed, seated upon blades of kusha grass spread on the ground, "I shall remain here in front of Rama's door. Without taking food or water, I will not move until Rama agrees to accept the throne." Quickly grabbing a bunch of grass from near Rama's hut, Bharata spread it out and sat down. Rama said in surprise, "Oh Bharata, why do you take such a vow? Your duty is to rule the kingdom, not sit upon the ground like a destitute Brahmin. Bharata turned towards the people and implored, "Why do you not plead with my brother to return?" A leader of the Brahmin community stepped forward. "It is clear that Rama will not be swayed from his determination to follow his father's command. What can we do? Our hearts are breaking with the thought of Rama's separation." Rama glanced lovingly at the Brahmin and then said to Bharata, "Get up, O tiger among men, return to Ayodhya, become the king, and rule with justice. In 14 years, you will see me return." Bharata stood up and replied to Rama, "If our father's order must be followed, then allow me to stay here in your place." Rama gently admonished Bharata, telling him that it was not possible for one's promise to be fulfilled by another person. Rama had given his word, and it was he who had to keep that word. He promised that when he returned to Ayodhya, he would accept the throne, but he would not, under any condition, return before the 14 years had expired. The many sages who were present had listened intently to the conversation between the two divine brothers. They were thrilled and astonished, thinking of the deep import of their discussion. Hosts of heavenly rishis, along with the gods, stood invisible in the sky. The divine beings then spoke so that only Rama and his brother could hear. Hearing this wondrous dialogue between Rama and Bharata, "We long to hear it again and again," said one of the gods. "O Bharata, please allow Rama to fulfill his promise to his father." By virtue of Rama's woe, Dasharatha had ascended to the highest heaven, freed of his debt to Kaikeyi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Very good. So this is very interesting that even Vasishta wants Ram to rule, right? Everybody wants Rama Rajya, right? But then Rama wants, justice to be established so that in future one does not take any decision according to one's own whims and fancies, right? So, since this is convenient for me to become the king, then tomorrow somebody should not say that I don't want to obey the orders of my father, because later on the relatives and others are saying that I should come back and rule, or I should come and take position as a successor of my father, right? So in this way everybody is very clear, right? And Lord Ram is very, very clear. There's no scope for discussion in the way Lord Ram has responded, saying that Lord Ram is saying, I will accept the throne, but that is only after 14 years. Right? And everybody is sad with the decision. And it's not that Lord Ram is very happy with this decision. He's feeling the pain of Bharata. He's feeling the pain of Shatrughna. He's feeling the pain of the Ayodhya Vasis. He's feeling the pain as the Bharata, Vasishta Muni, and all are actually conveying through their various logic, saying why Lord Ram should come back. Right? So it's not a pleasurable situation for Lord Ram also. Lord Ram also, because he's also practicing dharma. He's doing his own duty. What will be followed by all the generations to follow next? Seeing this is the role model, or this is the path that is established by the Lord himself, right? And all the demigods are also showering the flowers, asking, the four brothers are able to hear what they are also saying, asking Bharata to allow Lord Ram to continue in the forest. Bharata should go back and rule, because as per the will of the Lord has appeared to kill Ravana, right? And so all the demigods are also thinking, this should not be delayed further. So let us get Rama to proceed to the forest, and the various activities for which Lord Ram has actually descended, let that continue to happen like that. Okay, so let's move ahead. Last part of the session today. Karpaguli Mataji, okay, we'll end with you. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandasana Mataji.
And Pranam, yes.
The gods were anxious for Ravana's death, which they saw as imminent. They showered celestial flowers on Rama and his brothers, and then returned to their heavenly abodes. Encouraged by hearing the demigods, Bharata was prepared to accept the responsibility of ruling Ayodhya. Falling at Rama's feet, he voiced his final doubts. My lord, how does the power to rule over our vast kingdom exist in me? I am young and inexperienced, nor am I possessed of any great ability. Surely the kingdom will meet with ruin under my incapable guidance. Rama raised his younger brother and placed him on his lap. Stroking his head with head, he said, your humility is your real qualification. The virtue of this wisdom you can protect the entire earth. Always seek the counsel of learned Brahmins and rule with confidence, O jewel among men. Bharata then brought before Rama a pair of ornate wooden sandals embellished with gold. He put them on the ground and said, Please place your feet on these sandals, dear Rama. Let these shoes be the rulers of the kingdom, and I shall remain as their servant. Rama immediately put on these sandals and then took them off again, and handing them back to Bharata. Bharata placed the sandals on his head. For the coming 14 years, I shall live in the hut outside Ayodhya, he said, sighing. I shall survive only fruits and roots, and my hair shall be matted. If at the end of this time I do not see you return, O Rama, then I shall enter blazing fire. So be it, replied Rama, and he embraced each of his brothers. Yeah, so again told Bharata that Kaikeyi should not be condemned and that he should not be treated, he should be treated with kindness. Rama paid his respect to all the people, unable to say anything, their throats choked and their eyes flooded with tears. Rama bowed to each of them in turn. As the queens departed, Kaikeyi turned and spoke privately to Rama. She censored herself again and again, begging his forgiveness. The queen fell at Rama's feet. I am entirely ignorant and have acted like a fool, she said tearfully. But now I understand that you are the eternal supreme person who would not be bewildered upon seeing your human pastimes. O Lord, please forgive me and destroy my attachments to family and wealth. Rama smiled at her with affection. It was I who, for the sake of the God, prompted you to act as you did. He said, You are not to blame, nor I am angry with you. Hardly anyone knows my real nature. I am never affected by desire in the same way as ordinary men. I act simply to reciprocate their service and love and given. Gentle lady, return to Ayodhya and live peacefully. Think of me day and night, and you will soon be free from all your attachments to this temporary world. Kaikeyi felt deeply relieved and gladdened. With folded hands, he circumambulated Rama and again joined the other two. Bharata had the golden sandals placed on his royal elephant and shielded by the white umbrella. With the elephant at their head, the citizens of Ayodhya returned the way they had come.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Madhu.
Thank you.
So here we
Thank
end
you.
our today's session. So everybody is doing their duty with a sense of responsibility, with a sense of wanting to follow the instructions of their gurus. And in this way, everybody is doing their duty, irrespective of whether it is giving them pleasure or whether it is giving them misery, right? So apparently, this particular act of going back to Ayodhya without Lord Ram is causing a grief to everybody, including Mother Kaikeyi. Isn't it? Who had initially wanted that Ram has to go to the forest and Bharat should become the king. But now, having understood the real facts, even Kaikeyi is remorseful and she also is begging forgiveness from Lord Ram. But finally, everybody agree to the will of the Lord. There's little bit left. We'll read it tomorrow because time is up. So everybody agree and they go back to Ayodhya. Right? Tomorrow we will conclude the last part of this chapter where everybody is applauding Bharata, how he has accepted the will of Lord Ram and is now going back and is not going to enjoy and rule. He himself is going to stay outside Ayodhya and simply be an administrator by actually keeping the lotus paduka of Lord Ram in the throne, and in that way he is going to rule Ayodhya, right? So, and the next part of it, the next chapter 6, the forest sages will start tomorrow after completing a little bit of what is left in this chapter. That we'll do tomorrow. We'll meet at 11 o'clock Indian Standard Time. So quickly, let's do Harinam Sankirtan and then we'll end our session in 2-3 minutes. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Asyatyadishotarine Ragupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Sitaram सीताराम जय सीताराम। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। गुरुदेव गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण शत्रुघ्न हनुमान जी की जय। ग्रंथराज श्री रामायण की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्री गुरुदेव की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, dear devotees. We'll meet tomorrow morning 4:30 a.m. for our chanting session, starting with the Shikshashtakam prayers, and then meet 11 o'clock as we continue the pastimes of Lord Ram as part of the Aranya Kanda of Ramayana. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.